let's not waste any time. Let's start with the first topic of the day. Sophie.
Well, I thought that because with the new release of like the new Beauty and the Beast movie that's coming out,
It's going to be shit. It's a remake. Let's face it.
Well, coming out, it's already out. I've heard good things. Josh Gad? So anyway, with the new release of the Beauty and the Beast remake, I've been thinking about how most of the films which are being released now or are going to be released are either remakes, adaptations of either real-life events, books, past movies from different countries, etc., and sequels. And I just feel how it's a shame that most of the original narratives and the original stories aren't being as popularized as most of the mainstream movies are. There are so many good films which are originals. For example, for the newest films, the film Split is an original film, and that's gotten so many good reviews from different critics and people, and it's just a good story in general.
Despite it being directed by M. Night Shyamalan, of course.
Oh, come on. He
does
he's gone through
things.
he's gone through a rough patch, but everyone goes through a rough patch.
Fair enough. He went through a rough patch for a long time, though.
Oh, bless him.
Poor M. Night Shyamalan. Ask me what it means! Ask me what it means! The plots.
He's like that very confused emo kid who doesn't know what his own life means.
And every once in a while, he writes something cool.
And I looked at a list of top 10 films to watch this year, and what I found is that literally every single one in this list which I found are either a sequel or an adaptation. So I've got War of the Planet of the Apes, obviously a sequel, Kong and Skull Island? What?
Skull Island, which is basically a sequel / remake / adaptation. It's a mixture of all three, isn't it? It's like...
It's not original, let's put it that way.
Yeah, but because you've been to watch it and you said there's references to the original people.
I didn't see all of it because the fucking power cut out 30 minutes towards the end of the film, and I still haven't got to see that 30 minutes.
Well, we'll watch it when it comes out on DVD. I'll buy it.
Yeah, you should. It's actually a really fun movie with some interesting performances in it.
Even though it's exactly like Godzilla.
Well,
with Kong.
Okay, well, I won't spoil anything because you guys didn't
monkey.
see the last 30 minutes of the movie, but that Godzilla thing is funny you say that. Anyhow.
Sorry.
And including this list is new Star Wars coming out, The Beauty and the Beast, Trainspotting 2, new Guardians of the Galaxy, the new Alien film, Transformers, Dunkirk, which is based off the real-life event, and the Kingsman sequel.
There's a Kingsman sequel? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, The Golden Circle. It's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Did you... I did not know about this, but did you know The Kingsman is based on a Marvel comic?
No, I had no clue.
I knew it was based off a graphic novel, but I didn't know it was based off Marvel.
Yeah, well, Marvel has one of those, like, sub-directory companies where they have, like, an indie scene, just so they can, like, say, oh, yeah... we're going to let this indie company just thrive on their own and try and bring original content without hiding the fact that it's just a Marvel-owned property.
Well,
but yeah, Kingsman is a decent thing.
It's a really good film.
Yeah,
and,
see, the thing about Kingsman for me is that, like, I really enjoyed the film, but the one thing I had a small gripe about, and I had the same gripe with Kick-Ass, which is, of course, by the same people pretty much, in that it's sometimes violent and vulgar, like, without really much of a purpose other than being violent and vulgar. That was my small gripe with the film. I had the same gripe with Kick-Ass, but anyhow...
I mean, Kick-Ass...
I didn't enjoy Kick-Ass.
No, I didn't enjoy Kick-Ass, but that was
dumb.
owned by Marvel as well, so... But, yeah, everything that's coming out this year, or has came out last year, is just been, like you said, adaptation or sequel. There's nothing original. I mean, I remember where...
The only original that's coming out this year is Boss Baby, and that looks actually quite funny.
No. Boss Baby is utter shite.
I want to go watch it just for Alec Baldwin as a baby.
To be honest, Boss Baby, when I saw the trailer the first time, I had a little bit of hope for it, and then the ratings came out, and that pretty much died. I
mean, it's like, you hear these movies where, if it's a good movie, the trailer and even the radio trailers are make it sound interesting. They make it sound really exciting and funny. But
and
for
then
Boss,
critics happen.
yeah, exactly. And then when Boss Baby comes out, especially on the radio, it's like, this summer, a baby is born. And he means business.
Alec
I want
Baldwin.
a latte right now. Alec Baldwin is
A baby.
a baby rated PG-13.
Starring Rob Schneider. No. Rob Schneider is a boss baby.
But that's exactly what it is. If a movie's going to be good, you do not need the trailer movie voice to go, this summer,
It's
this
just
baby.
so cheesy. I think it's so funny when they still have that trailer voice. Because it's like, it's meant to be, maybe meant to be taken seriously, but you never take it seriously anymore. Maybe when it was first happening, it was like, oh my god, that's amazing, it's so epic. Now it's just like...
It's very cliche nowadays, yeah.
There's a baby who means business. He went doo-doo when he was doing the business.
Rob Schneider
That was a
is
dumb
that baby's doo-doo. Coming this summer.
So, but yeah, looking back this year compared to something like 15 years ago, there was like, but even 15 years ago, most of the top 10 movies were just, they were sequels and adaptations. So
I can understand why sequels are made, obviously, for like...
Oh, yeah.
Because if a film's successful, then obviously you want to make more money off the franchise, but I just think it's a shame when it's being milked the way it is. Like, what also is annoying me now is that how you kind of know that they're running out of ideas.
yeah.
Because there are sequels, like the Triple X Return of
Xander Cage, yeah.
Cage. That's it.
Yeah.
The first film came out 15 years ago, and the second film came out 12 years ago.
Look at Jumanji. That
Yeah.
came out, 25 years ago
And now they're
Jumanji,
remaking
yeah.
it just like, hey, original idea, guys.
Well, it's Jumanji hasn't been advertised well. They haven't said it's a sequel.
I've hardly
but
seen
they have,
anything about it, to be honest.
exactly. But they haven't advertised or announced it's a sequel. But
Well-
they haven't announced it's a remake either. I
Mm.
mean, we all
isn't,
know Jumanji is going to be based on a video game this time around. So, but
Isn't The
there's still
Rock
the
going to be
illusion-
in it?
Oh yeah, but he's one of the main characters.
He's the main character, so...
Of course he is. It's The Rock.
But
But I
You're
remember
welcome.
I can't remember what year it was, but The Artist, 2009, maybe 2008.
I have it here
Oh,
in my
do you?
notes. It was 2011.
Ooh, close. But The Artist was a really, really good movie. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's basically a black and white movie, 4:3, and silent. And the whole point of it is you're going back to a time where it was just a black and white. It was just, all it was pianos playing in the background for the audio. And you go through the struggles of this character who is struggling to go from black and white, sorry, not black and white, to from silent movies to the talkies, as they were called back in the day. And you feel the struggle because when it actually happens, you just feel, wow, that it's weird actually hearing this guy. You wouldn't think he sounded like that.
It was a real struggle as well, because I remember hearing about Charlie Chaplin. He really struggled, like Modern Times was his first talkie,
Yeah.
I believe, and the only thing you ever heard from him was him singing, and that was a song which was complete nonsense. He just made it up.
Yeah.
well,
but
that was
everything else-
that was Charlie Chaplin's style, though, and Modern Times still ended up being one of the best movies ever.
It's really good, actually.
Yeah, and didn't The Artist
Yeah, but
win
didn't it make a
Best
loss?
Picture?
It did. It made a because the profit was not profit. The budget originally was $1.5 million, and the box office was $1.4 million.
Is that domestic or
Domestic.
Oh, right. So it was just in the country. But then again, in those days, they didn't really.
It's still
they
a
couldn't,
loss, though.
Yeah, they couldn't account for international. So
Yeah.
if it was released internationally,
But the thing is that the main reason why it made a loss is because of the political messages it had in it. It was quite a political film,
oh right.
really, because it was basically Chaplin saying, "Fuck machines, dude, am I right?"
Oh, is that the movie where he had a speech?
No, that was The Great Dictator.
That's
The
another
Great
one of the
Dictator,
greatest
because-
movies of all time.
Yeah, I've only seen the only movie of Charlie Chaplin have seen is that clip on YouTube where it's like
It's
the
so
great
good.
speech of all time.
Gives me chills every time.
Gives you chills every time.
Because like one time is basically like the one where he's in a factory and he goes insane because of it, and he's like turned into a machine.
But when you think about it, it's like those movies were great back in the day. Both of you agree that it is a really good movie, but it wouldn't make any money these days.
Oh, I don't know, because it's shown in like really old films such as like Modern Times.
Okay, but
Another really popular one,
imagine it was
Citizen
made
Kane.
this year. Imagine it was a completely original-ish idea. Not by Charlie Chaplin, nothing
Different.
to do with him, not even the same company, but someone different. Would a movie like that make a
No.
profit these years? Exactly, it
No,
wouldn't make a profit.
not at all.
because
I feel like most people like have kind of adapted to like the action types, so like Avengers, stuff like that, like Fast and Furious. Like people have adapted to that now, so I think that's what they're expecting.
But when
Nobody has time for
movies-
like political movies anymore. You know, it's usually seen more as propaganda if somebody's got a political movie going, because most of them are that come out these days. You know, freaking Dinesh D'Souza coming out with whatever Democratic President's America like 3
But when-
times. It's
I feel like
8
some
years.
political films are like the ones that are some like success, like at the Oscars, for example.
But then the people who who announce the winners at the Oscars are just like old people anyway. I mean, that's not me being stereotypical. It is legitimate fact that
It's like we're not
Most
saying they're not good films, but we're
Yeah.
just saying like why these types of films are getting more recognition than some other films.
yeah, I mean, Avengers, prime example. Well, any comic book movie, it's got a wide audience. Everyone can go watch it. It's not something that's got a lot of swearing. It's not got. It has got violence, but it's very toned down. It's very PG-13, or in this case, 12A in England. So, but they pander to everyone. And when cinema was first came out, it was just to get people away from the Great Depression. People would go to the movies just to get away from the financial crash, to get away from the war. They just want an outlet just to enjoy, sit down, and forget about the world around them. So, but these days we don't have room for movies that talk about political standpoints.
I feel like we're kind of sugarcoating everything, like with films now.
In what way?
Like
To be honest, the last real political film I saw was Idiocracy, and that was pretty freaky. That was just because it was really freaking funny.
I think the last political movie I
Like, I
watched
know-
was The Election with Will Ferrell, and that shit.
Ha. The Election with
Yeah.
Will Ferrell. Was that an actual movie, or are you making a? Oh, you're talking about
sorry,
the campaign.
Yes.
I thought you were making a joke, like the American election.
What if I was? But yeah, but movies back then could be literally about everything. They could be comic book movies. They could be political. People did not see that as a way like, oh, what do I fancy today? They did not have much choice. It was either, what am I going to do today? Am I going to go to the pictures and watch a movie, or am I just going to walk around because there's no TV or radio these days? Okay, let's go to the cinema. I'll watch whatever. But these days, there's so many movies. You can literally choose from 20 movies per cinema these days. So you've got plenty of choice. There's not a market for political movies these days. I mean,
they're mostly shown like, and if they are political films, they're always like mostly shown art house cinemas, though, aren't they?
exactly. But when
Okay, so I would say that you say there's no audience for political films, and I'd say that's correct for purely political films, but political films have taken a different tone these days. For example, there have been plenty of quote-unquote political films that have won Oscars.
yeah, but the thing is, they
Take,
win Oscars because the people who rate these movies, people who review these movies, people who nominate and give the awards to these movies are people that they pander to. I mean, I wasn't kidding when I said, like, the people who monitor the Oscars are in their 60s, because it's true. They had to bring, how much was it? I think it was about 50 or 40 extra critics in for this, or the last Oscars, just so they could have quote-unquote diversity when picking their movies. I mean, you laugh now, but it's true.
I know.
Everyone on the committee was like white, middle-aged.
Oscar's so white.
Yeah, Oscar's so white, middle-aged fat men. It's true, because it's like those movies pandered to them. I watched a movie when I was in college called Winter's Bone. That is the most boring movie I've ever
Jennifer
seen in my
Lawrence,
life.
right?
And it was just basically about this farm girl getting raped.
Played by Jennifer Lawrence,
exactly.
right?
It was that movie.
Yeah.
And it was about this girl getting raped and her dealing with the side effects of her being raped by her, I think it was father or stepfather, I can't remember. I was so bored, I fell asleep. And they were talking. I mean, I'm not saying that movies can't just be talking. I like movies that have a political standpoint, but when it's got nothing going on but, how do you feel today? I don't feel anything today. I just want you to leave me alone. That's what it was her trying to hide away, and then eventually it's like, I'm not going to take this shit anymore! I'm going to report you! The end. Before he even got it, and she killed him. So, it's not a good movie. But, you've got three acts. You've got the beginning, middle, end, obviously. The beginning is setting up. The middle is to the climax, and the climax is a resolution. I mean, I know that sounds straightforward, but many movies...
Disequilibrium, conclusion.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that sounds very straightforward, but movies that are trying to break away from that mold do not understand that. They think, oh yeah, we need to make it edgy, but without realising that they need to tell a coherent story that's interesting to the viewers, not just something that deals with a political or a moral choice in life. You know what I mean? So, but these Oscar committee just look past that and go, oh, it's about rape. Oh, it's a true life story. Ah, it's a biography. It must be good. I mean, look at
So just because it's based off like a real life thing, or just because it has real life issues, it doesn't mean it's a good narrative.
Exactly. I mean, there's been two jobs. There's been two movies based on Steve Jobs. The first one did shit. And critically, but it still was nominated for many awards in various award ceremonies. And then the second one came out, it was instantly recognised as like, oh yes, this is a good movie. Why? Because it came out close to award season.
It's mostly because Michael Fassbender. Yeah. Michael Fassbender makes a way better Steve Jobs than Ashton Kutcher does, to be honest.
Jeez. But yeah, there's just a huge demographic these days. There's a huge audience, and movies those days that was popular those days do not have a place.
I know.
So they need to be sequels. They need to be remakes, because that is what makes money. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just means that I'm starting to get sick of comic book movies. And that's true. I'm very bored of it now. Don't you agree?
There are, like... I feel like there's so much happening, because it was like last year there was so many like comic book films, weren't there? There was like Batman vs Superman.
There's going to be, 7 this year?
Yeah, like there's just so much happening. I feel like maybe if they spaced out a little bit, like, I love the films. I love every single one that I've seen. But like I feel like there's too much happening at once, and they're throwing so much at us, and it's just like, let us breathe, please.
We need to rest.
I cannot afford this.
I was looking at work during my spare time because we had nothing to do at work. But yeah, I was just looking at the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the storylines, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm so bored of this now.
I'm so excited for the new films coming out. I really am, but I just feel like
I don't even watch the comic book TV shows. I don't watch
the TV shows
Arrow or The Flash because I'm sick of it. I need the movies because they're a break, but there's no originality these days because
they don't.
It doesn't sell.
There are like the Grand Budapest Hotel was obviously it was originally like an indie film, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an.
That was a fantastic movie.
Fantastic movie, but that's a very rare occasion where they make a profit.
Film as well. Cinematography.
Yeah, but it's a very rare occasion where it makes a profit.
It did really well.
Yeah.
So do you guys feel that the Best Picture nominations for the Oscars the past few years haven't really hit their mark?
To be fair,
well?
like the only one like for Best Picture that I heard of was La La Land. I had never heard of anything else that was nominated.
Okay, well, to be fair, I don't want to open a can of worms here, but I personally thought La La Land was better than Moonlight, but I could understand why Moonlight won, because it was a good movie, in my opinion.
But
And it was also very... I did watch it, though, and think, well, this is, a movie about a gay black man living his life. I mean, that's... Hollywood loves that. Of course, they're going to eat that up and make that Best Picture.
Birdman also got nominated for many awards, and it won many awards, and it got 5-star reviews, but if you watch it, the only thing it really did different was it looked like it was shot on one take. That's the only thing that had going for it.
Most of it was.
Oh yeah,
actually.
no, I know. So it was, but there was
most of it
breaks
actually
in
was.
it. But it was pretty much shot in one take, and that's the only thing it had going with it. The story was pretty average, but because it was based on true life events, well, they say it's based on true life event. We pretty much know it's sort of based on Keaton's Batman. There's some undertone in it, but yeah, there's nothing going for that. I watched it. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I don't think it was worthy of the nominations it got, if much.
I liked it a lot, and that was a year that they had a lot of good movies come out, as far as I remember. I mean, they had that. They had the Les Mis Hugh Jackman movie came out that year, if I'm not mistaken. I know there was a lot of mixed reaction on that movie, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic.